Hey guys, what's going on? I am so excited to share with you the first build video of Build Own Moto. So today's kind of idea is I want to show you the bikes that I have that I've been working with, bikes that I've been riding, and bikes for future builds. As you can see, it kind of goes down as far as quality here. I mean, this one's not out of quality, but you can see that bike, it needs some work. So first bike up on the list to kind of share with you is this 2012 KTM 250 XCW. I really have fallen in love with this bike since I've gotten it. Previous bikes that I've ridden were like 1992 YZ250s, which if anybody's ever ridden those, you know that the power valve is way different compared to now. So this bike, to be fully honest, I love it. I've taken on a couple trail rides with you guys that you've seen in past videos. This bike just does hill climbs amazing. It goes over roots really easily. I'm learning how to get the front end up and go over logs. So this bike has been incredible. I did a top end in it 14.5 hours ago. It's ready for its first oil change with this, and I'm just super excited to share more with this bike. Futuristically, I want to get a 4-stroke as well. That way I can have kind of both sides of it. And I want to do some motocross with it a little bit. So as I'm learning this career and learning this, I really want to take that to the next step. The next bike I want to show you is this 1997 RM 125. My brother had a 1998 and it was just so fun to ride. And when I see this come up on Marketplace, I was like, I need it. But I'll show you a picture of what it looked like when I first got it. It was a basket case, much like this one. I did a lot of work to this, seat cover, plastics, painted the frame, put in new radiators, put in new radiator hoses, went through the entire motor, changed out the tires with some used tires that I had because it is a budget build as I'm learning on these. And I'm really excited to get you guys in on this. The first thing that we have to do with this one, I've got to pull the motor. Unfortunately, I messed up the transmission. Now, like I've been telling you, I am learning so much as I'm working on these bikes. I wanted to build a few before I kind of brought what I wanted to do to you guys. And I want to show you the mistakes I make along the way. So one of the mistakes I made is truly in this bike. I don't know if it's the shift forks, the shift drums, or if I missed a shim in the transmission, but it has a lot of neutrals and only 2 gears. So we'll get to that in a little while. The last one that I want to show you that I'm excited to bring over the winter is this 2000 KX 125. Now this bike is kind of one of the highly sought after bikes that that people really want to find, and I was super stoked to find this one. I got it for about 800 bucks as it sits. I've got a lot of parts in the shed over there in a box that we can put back on it. But as it is sitting right now is how I got it. The piston is hanging out of it. The jug is out of it. If you guys know, these have Nicocel plating. So I have to send the jug downstate to get some plating done to it. But as soon as this bike is ready to rock, I'm excited to share it with you guys. Both these bikes will be taken on a test ride once I've finished them. The plan for this bike is I kind of want to restore it to stock. I really like kind of starting with stock on these bikes and going to what they were. I really like seeing the history behind these bikes and where they can go from. This one has a different set of wheels that I've never really seen. A friend of mine told me they were kind of to help reduce the amount of mud that packs into the rims, but as we go, we'll learn. This one just has a lot of work. We're not only talking about motor work here, we're also talking the frame has a lot of stripped out bolts. The bolts in the gas tank, they tend to spin, and it just needs new tires. It looks like it had studs in it, so it was raced on the ice. But I'm excited to get you guys in on this one. So this will be the first full teardown and build on it. So I'm excited to get into it. Let's get into this 1997 RM 125. Hey guys, it's the next day. So let's go ahead and we'll get started on this build. We're gonna start tearing off the radiators, radiator shrouds, tear out the gas tank out of this, move into the exhaust, and then pluck the motor. So you guys can get started in a minute. One thing I want to show you that I ran into with this bike is these brackets always bust off right here. So I had to put a bolt and a nut together right here to get this seat to hang on. And the other thing I'll show you in a few minutes here is I had to build these brackets as well on both sides of this bike. It's hidden on this side, so that this seat could be put back together and set on this. It was kind of a difficult task, but a little bit of fabrication, and it came out good for the tools that I have. Here's those brackets I was telling you about as I removed this. You can see what I created here. I had to create it out of some steel brackets that I had lying around the garage, but they do line up just fine, and I swapped out the rivets with bolts as I redid the seat cover a little while back. There isn't any damage to these, but you can't really get a bolt into either one of these because they're stripped out. So the bolt goes right through it. That side works, this side does not, so I had to put a bolt through it. Another thing I want to show you is all of the work that was put into these radiator hoses. I'm not going to lie, when you go aftermarket, they don't go in as well as the ones that come with it. But when I purchased this bike, it didn't really have any of these hoses that actually fit. They were all tore up, they were ripped. So I was working on getting some new ones. I just decided to go with yellow because it kind of fit the bike really well. And the other thing I have to get is this port here. It's kind of part of the exhaust valve. It does push some exhaust out of it, and they normally have a drop that comes down to here. Last time I had found a part, I just kind of have to order it online, but when I found out that this thing was having issues with transmission, I decided, let's go backwards, let's take everything apart, and we'll go from there. So the next thing to come off is the exhaust. Not gonna lie to you guys, this never goes well for me when it comes to relieving or taking out the coolant. It always spills all over me as soon as I release that cap and shoots out. Something I came up with an old jug that I had was this. It kind of helps me get it underneath the flap here and catch a little bit, which is helpful when it comes to it because it catches whatever runs straight down. So I got to remove that bolt next, drain out all the coolant, remove the cap, and then we're ready to continue on moving out the motor. As you can see, coolant still strikes again. I did not manage to keep it clean off the ground, but I did get the radiators off and we were ready to move into the next part, which is taking off the intake, and well, not the intake, the carburetor, and pulling this motor. Now in the past, a lot of this would have intimidated me when it came to removing a motor out of anything, but these 2-strokes are very simple to pull out. So are 4-strokes, but especially these older bikes, you got to start with this mount bracket here, which has 3 bolts. The next bolt's right here, bolts into the frame. There's one more down here underneath of the frame, and then you have to pull this main axle out of the frame. So I'm going to remove the brake next, work on pulling those all out of the way. Sometimes you have to remove your kickstarter as well for the right angle, and I have to take the clutch off. Something I want to show you guys that I had to do on this, which is common on these older ones, I had to have someone TIG weld my bracket back on. They always snap off from the top here. Because they're aluminum, they have a harder time with all of the bend. So what I had to do is have it welded on. I drilled the hole and cut the slot in it so that I could put this back to where it belonged, allowing my clutch to work. A little trick of the trade that I learned when it comes to this, I like to put the bolts, like these bolts, back in their bracket according to how I took them out, and the bracket in the correct direction that I took it out. It helps you just know where everything goes. It's going to be a lot easier to get these 3 in there and knowing that these are the 3 bolts and not guessing as you're putting it back together. As you can see there, it took me a little while to fight this. This has 3 different spots to fight with you all at once. I mean, it's pretty good. It never comes out of there. If you look at the piece that's right here, this clip had to come out of there. I'm trying to get to focus there. This clip and this clip all had to be pressed in so that this could pull out. Meanwhile, trying not to tear on the wires too much so you pull them out, or these wires here that are for the kill switch. As you can see, the motor's out of it successfully. This didn't come out too bad. I had to put a jack stand underneath of it just to lift the axle and support it for just a moment. I'll put these 2 bolts in like I had said a moment ago, but we're making progress. The bike's all apart and the motor's on the ground. Hey guys, the goal is achieved. The engine is out of this Suzuki RM 125. I put all the bolts back in like I had said to make sure that I could kind of move this around. Makes it a little bit easier when you don't have to pick up the rear swing arm and move everything at the same time. So this bike's going to be set away. We're going to start tearing into this motor, but that's it for this episode. So if you enjoyed what you were watching and liked what you see as far as tearing down, just like and subscribe so you can see the next video as we split this casing, take the piston out of it, and begin to check out what's wrong with this transmission. Until then, we'll see you guys next time.